I don't love preaching on the 9/11 moments. It's kind of hard. Some of us are like way over it. Let's stop talking about it. Some of us are really hurting and wounded, and many of us are in between. But I've been thinking about 9/11 and why they picked that day. And our sermon today is called, In Case of Emergency, Love.
There is this notion of a sort of a separate club, and it's comprised of a different kind of love. What can you do for me? How can you further me? And when you get nothing, you pack your love and flee. Well, that ain't love. Love is an action, a verb, not just a word to abuse and take lightly, just said to be heard. And everyday actions and reactions are chances in making love active and not just a word. My mama shows me love. It's a kinetic love, for I am the product of an act based not in love. You see, single she raised me with help from family, especially mommy's mommy. They showed such love is an action, it's a verb, not a word to abuse and take lightly, sorta said to be heard. And everyday actions and reactions are chances to make love active and not just a word. Oh, love does not envy, it does not boast, hey, it does not house conceit. There's no limit to God's grace, and there consider how you love.
Thank you, Harold. Mom, this is Wells. I want you to know that I'm okay. This is the calm voicemail that Wells Remy Crowther, an equity trader, left for his mother, Allison, after the South Tower was struck by United Airlines Flight 175 on September 11, 2001. He was on the 104th floor and somehow found a stairway out and down and made his way down to the 78th floor. With his face covered with a red bandana just like the one his dad gave him when he was a 7-year-old kid. The red bandana that he kept in his pocket always. He covered his face with it, and he made at least 3 trips from the 78th floor back up. 10 of the 18 people who survived the towers were saved by that kid. He carried one woman down 17 flights of stairs and then went back up again. Those people who were saved followed the calm, strong voice of a young man shouting, "This is the way. This is the way." When the tower fell, Wells was in the lobby, it seems, with firemen who were planning to take tools upstairs to relieve people and let more of them out. He had been a volunteer firefighter when he was a young man. And 1 month before he died, he told his dad he was going to leave his lucrative business of selling stocks and apply to be a New York fireman. And in fact, the New York Fire Department posthumously made him a firefighter. On May 15th, 2014, when the 9/11 memorial was dedicated, Wells' mother, Allison, said, quote, "Wells believed that we're all connected as one human family, here to look out for and care for one another. This is life's most precious meaning. It's our greatest hope," she said, "that when people come here and see Wells's red bandana, they'll remember how people helped each other that day and be inspired to do the same in ways big and small. This is the true legacy of 9/11. So here we are again, facing another 9/11 with all of the memories it evokes. Our sorrow, our fear, our anger, our sense of insecurity. We mourn those we lost that day, and we mourn some other kind of thing, a loss of something, like peace or, I don't know, innocence. And we also mourn those who died due to injuries they suffered rescuing others or recovering the bodies of those who perished. We feel so vulnerable and so terrified that some of us have turned to terror. We take out our anxiety on our Muslim brothers and sisters. We wound them and our sick American brothers and sisters because they wear turbans and beards, and we're confused. We've hurt them, we've insulted them. Yeah, we've even killed them. Not only that, while a war against terror rages in theaters abroad, terror rears its ugly head here. 6 Sikh people worshiping in Oak Water were killed in Oak Creek. 9 African-American Christians killed in Charleston, gathering for worship, sitting in cafes, marching for peace. All over the nation, people turned cars and guns and knives and planes into bombs to destroy lives. Fear entrenches us in our silos. We retreat from one another. Here in this nation, we cling tenaciously to falsehoods that make us feel safe and strong and powerful. The lie of white supremacy, the ridiculous notion that this nation of immigrants should somehow erect a wall and close our borders or put people out, and the unbelievable prejudice that still exists against our LGBT family, especially trans people, and especially trans women of color. This anger, this hatred, fuels the fire of violence in this nation, just like those planes ignited a fire in the buildings that caused them to collapse. I'm worried that our hatred will cause our nation to collapse. We know those who planned the attacks on 9/11 picked that day so they could say this is an emergency. Well, this is an emergency. We are in a state of emergency. Mother Earth is so pissed off at us because of the way we've used her seas as a toilet, the way we've polluted her air, the way we've dug her out from the inside, leaving her vulnerable, leading crazy storms that will only continue. That's an emergency. I don't mean to pick on POTUS, but let me pick on him. I lied. He is intent on pulling down every just and ethical statute erected to protect vulnerable people, brown people, black people, women, poor people, sick people, gay and lesbian and trans people. And he cares more about those statues that have been erected to commemorate treachery and lynching and white supremacy than human hearts. And let's not let Congress off the hook. The Republicans are so intent on dismantling anything that President Obama did. Winning is more important than governing. And I'm a Democrat, but let me talk about my people. What kind of apathetic, non-imaginative, can't get it done Democrats are running the nation? I'm wondering, and maybe you are too, where's the way out of the hot mess? Who knows how to get us to the door, to get us down the stairs out of the burning building? Who will lead us to safety? This is an emergency, friends, and we need leadership right now to show us the way out. And I don't know if we can wait for the people in charge to get us there. I think we need to lead. I think we are the ones who know how to act in times of emergency. Maybe we haven't had to, like wells, go up and down, carrying people to safety, but we know what to do. In hot mess times, we pull together. We rescue each other from burning buildings, and we rescue each other from rising waters. We get on boats and take vacation day, and we scoop people up when the seas are coming. When the waters recede, we tear down moldy plaster, and we help people to rebuild. We board up windows together. We fly each other out of danger. We open our doors. We open our hearts. We stand up. We march. We sit in. We die in. We change the law. We have each other's backs. Why? Because we're human. And we understand that we are inextricably connected one to the other. And we understand that without each other, we simply cannot live. And so, though I believe our leaders need to lead us, I think we need to take a deep breath and put on some flame retardant and get into the hot mess and save each other. I'm split preaching on the 9/11 thing, you know? Sometimes I feel completely over it, and sometimes I think, what the hell? But no matter what, I want us to reclaim 9/11 as a day for us, a day to claim revolutionary love as a solution to the emergency. I want us to take 9/11 and heal it and heal ourselves. What do you think about that? So if 9/11 is Revolutionary Love Day, I want to give us a few things we can think about doing, practical things that can help us. First of all, I think we need to call upon our leaders, no matter where they are, north and south, to demand that they take down the statues and symbols of white supremacy that have been erected to terrorize black and brown people. Our friend Anjanou Ellis and our friend Genesis B have a nonprofit called Take It Down America that the Middle Project is incubating. And you can find their Facebook page, Take It Down America. They are not going to rest till every flag and every statue comes down. Don't let anybody lie to you and tell you that stuff's about history. They weren't built in 1892. They were built during Jim Crow, to remind people of lynching, to remind people that traitors put on white capes and masks and wreaked havoc upon a land. They need to come down too. While we're taking down the statues that remind us of hatred, I think we need to erect new monuments of freedom. And by that I mean physical monuments, like let's celebrate Ella Baker, and let's celebrate Fannie Lou Hamer, and let's celebrate Rabbi Heschel. You know, let's celebrate the people in this land who have done amazing things to heal us. And I also mean let's create living monuments of freedom. Let's create relationships that testify to what we can do together when we connect to one another. Let's create legacies because we bond together and we don't let anybody turn us around. Living monuments of freedom. Third, and in this place, we're relating to one another. Black, white, Latino, Asian, straight, gay, Buddhist, Christian, atheist, Jew, Muslim in this place, right? But let's take that circle of connection outside of here. Where's the relationship you need to make in your neighborhood? Where's the relationship you need to make in the marketplace, at work, at school? Who's the other that you need to know more deeply so we can grow our empathy muscle? Let's pick, 3 people to connect to this year that we don't know, that'll teach us about their lives and their stories so we can hold their thing in our heart. Okay? 4, we who are a nation of immigrants, how dare we? How dare we imagine that we should build a wall against the people whose land this used to be? How dare we imagine that they wouldn't want to come get their stuff? And how dare we imagine that we should close our borders and send those folks home? So we must demand positive action in Congress right now about DACA. We have to demand it. And 5, Tuesday is our primary. Do not stay home. Go out and vote. And if you have a friend or relative who you think might stay home, call them and bug the heck out of them and tell them to get out there and vote. Hell, you decide. We know how to be in times of emergency. We know how to knock on someone's door and say, "Do you have milk?" We know how to take sandwiches up flights of stairs when the storm comes. We knew how to rebuild after Sandy. We knew how to rebuild after Katrina. We know how to build after all of these storms with new names. And we know how to care for our beloved because they're vulnerable and sick or scared. We know how to show up. This is an emergency, middle family. We gotta do what we gotta do. In case of emergency, not hatred. In case of emergency, not terror. In case of emergency, not bigotry. In case of emergency, not apathy. In case of emergency, revolutionary love. Amen.